Welcome everyone to this incredible webinar. We have a very special guest today, a senior advisor at the Nefesh VanFS, Ellie Bialik, who has come to us special to answer your questions about Aliyah. And this is your opportunity. Perhaps you won't get too many to get such a high-level answers from such a senior advisor at this time. It's not so easy to get a hold of people in the big bureaucracy. In fact, I just was speaking to somebody earlier today who was saying that the problem is less with Nefesh VanFS and more with the governments, both on the American side as well as the
That was me. That was
Israeli
me.
side.
I told you
you.
that.
Okay.
I ran into
that's
Rabbi
right. Very fast. Very fast. Exactly. So, so we can't blame Nefesh VanFS for that. But we can ask questions that we might have, and I'm going to, well, this project is being sponsored by the Bring Them Home project, which can be found at bringthemhome.org.il, and it also is being sponsored by the Miriam Geula project, and both of those projects you should check out. Our website, the bringthemhome.org.il, is a website which has lots of information about the background of why one would make Aliyah, whether that be hashkafically or halachically. There are many videos in our inspirational video series from prominent Rabbanim and Rebbins talking about the importance of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael today. We also have podcasts. We have a live show, radio show that's once a week. Lots of different elements. A blog, over 30 Israeli bloggers talking about Aliyah. And there's lots and lots of information over there. I recommend that you go over there and check that out. And meanwhile, I'm going to let Ellie introduce himself and tell a little bit about his background. And we'll wait for the questions to start coming in. Ellie,
okay. Thank you for having me, Josh. Always a pleasure to spend time with you. So my name is Ellie Bialik, and I made Aliyah as a single actually it's about 30 years ago now, in order to serve in the IDF. That's when I declared my Aliyah. But then I came back to Israel to live permanently only 25 years ago to kibbutz. And I'm married to Mazi. Currently, we live in Ramat Beit Shemesh, and we have 5 children. And I've had the zchut of assisting just over 6,000 people make Aliyah in my 10 years that I've been working at Nefesh VanFS. And it's really been a dream to help other people, live their dream and to fulfill their many times a lifelong goal of making Aliyah. One of the things that I must say, because I heard how Josh started as far as the difficulty in getting through and speaking to people. So I'd just like to say that Nefesh VanFS is committed to assisting everybody make Aliyah. And if you call our 1-866 number, 1-866 for Aliyah, you will be responded to within 24 hours, despite the fact that we have thousands and thousands of people who are contacting us over the past couple of months with urgent requests for information regarding their Aliyah. We will get back to you within 24 hours. Okay, so please, even though there may be challenges along the way, but Nefesh VanFS is here to assist you with that. Now, just a little bit as far as what we do at Nefesh VanFS, because I think it's important to just to understand the Aliyah process. Okay, Nefesh VanFS, our organization, is a private organization that promotes and facilitates Aliyah. We provide Aliyah services, and we work in conjunction with the Jewish Agency for Israel, the Sochnut HaYehudit. The Sochnut, the Jewish agency, is responsible in determining eligibility for making Aliyah under Chok HaShvut, the Israeli law of return. As you may know, Chok HaShvut is based on the Nazi Nuremberg laws, meaning that if you could have been persecuted as a Jew by the Nazis during World War II, then you're eligible to make Aliyah. So it's not a halachic status, but rather it's a legal status by a person having, a Jewish parent or a Jewish grandparent, or having converted to Judaism. And what we do at Nefesh VanFS is we're here to assist you with your Aliyah process and with your Aliyah planning, and to help you with everything that you need for your Aliyah needs. And part of that is to help you interface with the bureaucracy of making Aliyah, and to make it a little bit more understandable and a little bit more manageable. And the requirements change at times, and we're here to provide you with updates of that, the most current information. And it's really a zchut to be assisting so many olim. So Josh, are you still here with me?
I'm here with you. I'm absolutely here with you. And I'd like to say, first of all, Yash Koach, it's amazing. You're doing amazing work. You're doing God's work. You're on a mission from God. And we hope that you will be successful in all your endeavors to bring the Jewish people home. But a lot of people are very concerned today. And the primary concern that we are hearing about is clearly revolves around the current corona situation. People that are not able to get the proper documentation together, whether that be or access to government offices, whether that be in the United States or in Israel. And maybe if you could just give us an update as to the timeline that people are going through. Now, first of all, I want you to before you even get to that, please make it clear, because this is something that before we speak about anything else, you have to make it clear that Nefesh VanFS is still in business, not only answering calls within 24 hours, but there are still planned Aliyah flights, even if El Al is not clear what's happening with them as a company. The flights are continuing, and the Nefesh VanFS is still bringing olim to Israel.
So, Josh, everything that you said is emet. It is the absolute truth. And our mandate is to assist people with Aliyah and to bring them here. And that's exactly what we're doing. And despite the challenges, we will do everything in our power to bring Jews to Eretz Yisrael. We go to great lengths to assist people. And even when we had hundreds of tickets booked for El Al, and El Al stopped their flying. So, within a couple of hours, we had hundreds of olim booked on another airline. And we will continue to do everything to make Aliyah more manageable. And what's really nice is that there is a lot of community involvement in Eretz Yisrael, different initiatives from Israelis who are so grateful to see that olim from North America are making Aliyah at this time, that they're volunteering to be in contact with olim when they come in. And the current regulations are that olim need to go into quarantine for 2 weeks, and these groups are reaching out, and they are looking to be in touch and to show their support to these wonderful individuals who despite the difficulties right now are making Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael. These people are the gems of the Jewish nation. There are 5 million, maybe, Jews in North America. And, the number of olim for the last couple of years has been around 3,600 a year, 50 more, 50 less. And now with the current situation, so there is a higher number of Aliyah, but it doesn't mean that Aliyah is something that everybody's banging down the door in North America to come. The people who want to come are the gems of the Jewish people. These are the people who are dedicated to helping Israel grow. And it's such a zchut because we see that these people are coming from all walks of life and all different Jewish affiliations. Nefesh VanFS works according to the law of return, Chok HaShavut, and we assist everybody make Aliyah. And one of the things that actually is very interesting is that recently there has been a greater request for information about Aliyah from the yeshivish and the Haredi community, which in past years has made Aliyah, but not in the numbers that are currently contacting us. And it's beautiful to see that this community is really waking up regarding Aliyah, and to the point where and I spoke with Rabbi Fass, who is a co-founder and executive director of Nefesh VanFS, that Rabbi Fass has been in contact with Gedolei Yisrael and is looking to see how we can better service the yeshivish and Haredi community, with their Aliyah here in Israel. And Nefesh VanFS is looking to open up a special department that caters specifically to the needs of the Haredi community. And this is something which is being facilitated by Nefesh VanFS with the help of U.S. Haredi philanthropists. And this is something which is new and exciting, because what it means is that we're going to be able to help more people make Aliyah the way that they need it. And that's exactly what we're here for.
Is that a scoop?
That is a scoop.
Amazing. I just want to say one before Yehuda asks her questions. I want to say that here in Eretz Israel, it's already dark. It's Rosh Chodesh Av, and it starts the 9 days, which we mourn the destruction of Yerushalayim, of the Beis Hamikdash. And I don't think that there could be anything more apropos than having a conversation about Aliyah on Rosh Chodesh Av during the 9 days and rebuilding Yerushalayim and Tzion. Yehudis, please go ahead.
Yeah, so thank you. Yehuda Shamroth. I also live in Ramat Beit Shemesh, but oddly enough, we really don't think we've ever met. And I think because our community in particular is really growing and has been growing exponentially since I made Aliyah in 2001. And I came the year before Nefesh VanFS, and thank God I had my own Nefesh VanFS, because I had two sister-in-laws that lived here, still do, and they went, well, one took me to government offices every single day for a week, the other one babysat the kids, and so otherwise, and the one that took me around was Israeli, so she could help. I didn't know a word of Hebrew, so anyway, I was like, I really appreciate what goes into making Aliyah. It's so not easy, and I know I've been to so many of your landing ceremonies just to go for fun. I always encourage people to go. People who are complacent about living here, yeah, it's Israel, it's like no big deal. Go to a Nefesh VanFS arrivals, and you'll cry and you'll laugh and you'll be hugging everybody. It's like, it's a beautiful homecoming for everyone over and over. I can never get tired of it. And so thank you for what you do for everyone. And so many of my friends have come through Nefesh VanFS, and you've helped them enormously. You get off the plane with your Teudat Sa'ud in your hand. I mean, but people like you were here too before your organization, and you couldn't do such a thing. You couldn't. You sat in government offices for hours and hours, and then they turn you away because you didn't have the right paperwork. Come back again and again. But anyway, just a couple of questions. I just wanted to know, what is so if somebody has their paperwork together, let's say they've been working on this and thinking about this idea already, and let's say it's reasonable, like they have pretty much everything underway. What is the reasonable amount of time they can expect to be able to come with you? Like, let's say they have all their ducks in a row and a few more things to get. Okay, how long is it?
So that's an excellent question. So I think that the key part to the equation is having your ducks aligned in a row, because once all of the documentation has been coordinated, the process usually takes about 3 months. Okay, right now the issue is getting all of the documentation requirements. That can take some time, but this is the general case with most Aliyah applications. Okay, again, for people who are coming as Olim Chadashim, as new immigrants who were born in the United States or Canada, that is usually the time frame. However, there are certain circumstances where the process can take longer. And specifically, that is the case for people who were born in countries that are part of the former Soviet Union, where the Israeli bureaucracy is a little bit different, and it takes the processing time takes longer. But for most of our Olim, once all of the documentation it has been lined up, the process usually takes about 3 months, which is not a long time at all.
And wondering also, are there any bottlenecks in the system right now? We were talking before we went live about there might be some places where there's a holdup for getting a passport. Even like people haven't renewed their passports, let's say, for a while, so they have to go run and do that now, and there are things to do. You know where the holdup?
Right. So that goes back to the issue of having all of the documents in order. You see, what happens is that Israel has really turned into be an extremely successful country, and there is great demand to make Aliyah from all over the world to Eretz Yisrael, and at times there have been people who have tried to take advantage of the system, and for that reason there have been new safeguards that have been put in place as far as documentation requirements in order to ensure that the right people are the ones who are making Aliyah, and that's in everybody's best interest. The only thing is that it just means more paperwork and more it takes more time to get the documents in order. And now with the COVID situation in the United States, it's unfortunate that some of the U.S. government offices are working at partial capacity, and it takes longer to get the documents, and it depends on the state. And there are also documents which are federal documents, such as a background check, which is required, and I'm sure that everybody can understand the importance of having a background check. So to get that authenticated with the apostille, as it's called, that can take some time. So the only thing that I say is that if you're looking to make Aliyah and you haven't yet started the process, and you're looking to come within the next 12 months, now is really the time to submit the Aliyah application and to start gathering the documents, and to have the interview with the Jewish agency, which is currently taking place through Zoom. So that way you can get the approval that you need, and not to be in a rush. If you're looking at making Aliyah in 2021, you can do it benachat. You can do it, step by step. Through going through your documents one by one, and you should be able to do things without too much stress.
One point I think I want to clarify is, and a lot of people don't realize this, there is no commitment involved in starting the process. So if one begins the process, they contact Nefesh VanFS, they start getting their documents together, they submit them. At no point are they committed, is that correct, that they have to go? But that allows them, it opens up the door that should they want to go, they can do so.
So I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree with that statement. Um, Nefesh VanFS is here to provide as much information, about Aliyah. Submitting an Aliyah application, true. There is no obligation that nobody is going to push you onto a plane. Aliyah is a voluntary process, and at any time of throughout the Aliyah process, you can either say yay or nay. However, that being said, I don't think it's appropriate to submit an Aliyah application, which is an application for citizenship. Okay, you're actually applying to immigrate to another country if you're not intending to immigrate. If you'd like more information, we're more than happy to communicate with you. We have plenty of programming to assist you and to provide you with information. But I wouldn't necessarily start an Aliyah application if I haven't made that decision that I want to make Aliyah.
Let me rephrase that. Someone who's not sure whether they want to make Aliyah, not that they're not sure that they ever want to make Aliyah, but they're not sure that they want to make it in the next coming months. They're considering making it. They're not sure if they're going to make it in 6 months or they're going to make it next year. What I am suggesting, and maybe your organization suggests otherwise, is that people start the application process and get all their paperwork together, because when it's going to be necessary, perhaps at some point it'll be necessary to jump on a plane. And unless you have all your ducks in order, as was appropriately said, you're not going to be able to do so unless you've started the process.
Okay, so I'm going to respectfully disagree with you, Josh, and you know that I love you. But the idea is, I don't think that anybody should be starting the process just to have an insurance policy in their back pocket. I think that people should be making Aliyah because they want to make Aliyah. True, if you have not received Jewish agency approval, you're not going to be able to make Aliyah. And I understand how difficult it is for some people right now, because there are those who have been traveling to Israel every year or multiple times a year, and there are people who have family members who live in Israel, and because of the current COVID regulations, they're unable to come for a visit. But we really want to be able to offer the best service that we can, and therefore it's really important, to know, if you're looking to make Aliyah, we want to give you the biggest hug that you can imagine. We want to help you, but if you don't think that this is something that you want to do, I would say continue with learning more about the process, and don't just open up a file to close it without moving forward. If you are serious and you're looking to make Aliyah within the next 12 months, okay, even if you're not 100% sure, okay, nobody's 100% sure about anything, right? Then fill out the application and make sure that you go through the process of getting all the documents and have the interview, have the Jewish agency approval. But if you're not, let's say, 85% sure that you're making Aliyah, and that you want to come to Israel, hold off until you're more sure about it.
Is there an expiration on the application? Once you're approved, is there a certain period of time that you have to make Aliyah within after that?
Okay, so once a person is approved by the Jewish Agency for Aliyah, for Olim Chadashim, for those who are given the Aliyah status by the Jewish Agency of Oleh Chadash, okay, their Aliyah approval is valid for 1 year. Okay, there are other Aliyah statuses which have a 6-month approval. such as Ezrach Ole or Katin Choser. But the status of Ole Chadash, the approval is valid for 1 year.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question. Under what circumstances would someone not be approved by the Jewish agency? Some examples.
That's an excellent question. So the Jewish agency is required to see that a person making Aliyah falls under the law of return. So the law of return means that you have a Jewish parent, or you have a Jewish grandparent, or you've converted to Judaism, and there are documentation requirements which then prove this eligibility. If a person is not able to provide that documentation, then they don't meet the eligibility requirements. Or, okay, a technical issue. If a person is unable to establish their identity, with legal civil documentation, so then that person would not be eligible because they can't prove who they are. Now, in addition to the issues of eligibility by proving that a person is Jewish, if a person is a threat to the state of Israel or a threat to themselves, also the law of return establishes that this person is not necessarily able to make Aliyah, and that is within the authority of the Jewish agency to make such a determination.
Okay,
can I just follow up with that? That also includes medical issues, or that's only?
Yeah, I was going to ask about that too. That we want to know if people would be
there is
no too sick to come, or too poor to come, or anything.
There is no prejudice for a medical condition. The law of return does not say that a person cannot make Aliyah because of health reasons. There is a required health declaration that the Jewish agency requires for a person to indicate their health status. But the Jewish agency will not reject a family or an individual because they have a health condition. But rather the health form is more of a tool to be able for us to help the individual research their medical needs in Israel, before they make Aliyah, and that we can address these issues, and that we can make sure that the person is healthy enough for the Aliyah flight itself. But there's no prejudice against a person making Aliyah because of a health condition.
Does that include contagious diseases?
There's nothing in the law of return that relates to finances. You don't need to be rich, and you can make Aliyah with with as much money as you have, and the country of Israel is happy to accept you with open arms. One of the responsibilities that we have at Nefesh VanFS is to relate to you what the cost of living is in Israel, and we have sample budgets on our website, so you can see what it's like to live in Israel, because you will need to support yourself. Olim receive a little bit of financial assistance from the Israeli government when they make Aliyah, is in the Aliyah benefits, which includes Sal Klita, for example, the absorption basket. But this is not enough money to live off of, and the Israeli government is not going to be able to provide people with financial assistance. So what's important is to know what the cost of living is like, and then for a person to make their own decision Does this meet their needs? But the country is open. In other words, we are more than happy, to assist people making Aliyah, regardless of their financial means.
I just ask about the medical. Does it include contagious diseases? So if someone had, let's say, he was HIV positive, or if someone had corona, what would be the response of Nefesh VanFS to them?
Okay, so Nefesh VanFS again does not approve a person for Aliyah. It's the responsibility of the Jewish agency to make that determination. And if a person is sick, then a person needs to show that they are healthy enough not to be a danger, to themselves or to others. And they're now currently during the coronavirus period, so there's medical documentation that needs to be completed in order to indicate that a person is able to make Aliyah, to get on a plane, just like you go to any store in Israel, and they check your temperature before you walk in, and they see that you're wearing a mask. So there are also requirements, when you're making Aliyah, to ensure that you are healthy, and that you are able at this time to make Aliyah.
So you field lots of questions every day. So you're probably the best person to tell us what are the main questions that you hear and their answers.
Okay, so
the top 10.
Okay, unfortunately, the top questions that I've been hearing lately have been less about Aliyah planning, and how to choose a community that's appropriate for my family, and to how to begin networking professionally, so I can start looking for a job in Israel, and researching the healthcare system. So if I have a pre-existing condition, I know how to jumpstart the system so that I can get the care that I need upon my arrival. Unfortunately, those are not the top questions that I'm hearing right now. The top questions that I'm hearing right now are about process. People are asking me, how do I get an apostille in New York City? How do I, do the FBI background check? How do I get a long form birth certificate? And these questions are important, but they shouldn't overshadow the need to really plan well for your Aliyah, because your success in Israel is not going to depend on how long it took you to get your document. It's going to be, how well did you choose your environment, where you're going to be living, and where you're going to be bringing your family, and where you're going to be sending your children to school. And if your children have any special needs that need to be attended to, as far as what preparations have I done, so that they'll be receiving the services that they need upon their arrival. So again, the top questions that I've been receiving are really important about process. But I think that I would love to be able just to tell people and to give them a hug and to say, you're absolutely right. Without this, you can't make Aliyah, right? But there's so much more to talk about, because this is such a significant life event, and that everything is going to be extremely different, and hopefully it's going to be better and beautiful. But there are certain cultural challenges. There are perhaps language challenges, and we want to help you begin to understand what is it to make Aliyah. We use the term Aliyah because it really is an ascent. It's a tremendous spiritual uplifting to be able to leave a community, even a Jewish community in Chutz La'aretz, in the diaspora, and to come to a Jewish society. And that's extremely fulfilling and extremely meaningful. But it's also important for all of us to remember that it's really immigration, and just like our grandparents immigrated from countries throughout the world to the United States, and they were immigrants and they had to work hard in order to establish themselves. So too, making Aliyah is immigration, and it's important for us to keep that mindset.
So there's a question from Shalom Kaufman, who's writing us from YouTube. Do you think Israel will start allowing foreign nationals in for pilot trip purposes? I know it's hard to prove, but I thought I'd ask.
Okay, so if I knew that answer, I would probably be a Navi, a prophet. Right now, because of COVID, tourists are not being allowed entry to Israel's borders, but that situation is fluid, and the Israeli consulate maintains a website where you can get updates, as well as on the Nefesh VanFS homepage, nbn.org.il. We have a link to updates for the current coronavirus situation. And as soon as we know of any changes in the regulations, that's exactly the place where we post it. So if this is something that interests you and you want to learn more about what the current regulations are to enter Israel, I know that there were some recent leniencies that were posted on the Israeli consulate website. So that's the place to check.
Question, what countries are you involved in helping nowadays? I know you've expanded beyond the United States. You say North America. Can we look forward to you reaching out to other countries in the near future?
So that's a decision that needs to be made by the Israeli government, and Nefesh VanFS is always willing to share of our organizational experience, our professional experience for anybody in any country that is looking to make Aliyah. But the mandate that we have from the Israeli government to facilitate Aliyah is currently from the United States and Canada. And for those who are making Aliyah from the UK, we are also here to provide them with Aliyah services once they arrive here in Israel.
Another question from YouTube. This is a question from Ben Aminov. The Jewish agency has said they're checking my father's Israel citizenship status for the past 3 weeks. How long does this usually take? Thanks.
That's an excellent question. And usually is probably not something that is really going to make a difference, because right now we're dealing with the current situation where there is a higher volume than usual with people contacting the Jewish agency. And what I would say is that if you have an Aliyah advisor that you are working with, okay, you need to be sharing this information with your Aliyah advisor, saying, okay, this is what I've checked in a couple of weeks ago. I haven't gotten a response. Please help me with this. That's exactly what Nefesh VanFS is here to help the Olim interface with the Jewish agency and to ask, and sometimes to bring to the front of the line if there is a request for information and for clarification that is really urgent, because a person has a timeline for Aliyah that requires this information as soon as possible. Please also take into consideration is that there is a certain workflow and the Jewish agency is doing their best.
Now, Nefesh VanFS is also involved on some level with government advocacy. Are they pushing or asking, requesting from the Israeli government? I've heard rumors that they're trying to make it a little bit more lenient for people. For example, instead of having to go through an apostille process, to use notaries or other things that might make it easier, especially during this very difficult time to make Aliyah.
So that's a great question. Nefesh VanFS is dedicated to making the Aliyah process as easy as possible, and our upper management and our government advocacy department are constantly in contact with the Israeli government to be able to find ways to streamline and to make the process easier. There are a lot of things that are suggested along the way, and we have a close relationship with the Jewish agency and with Misrad HaPnim and with Misrad HaKlita, and we make our suggestions, and we request leniencies where we can, and ultimately we're here to facilitate the regulations as are put in place by the Knesset and Israeli law. So we will do our best and continue to do our best to help promote streamlining the process. But currently things are the way they are.
What would you suggest to someone that is having or is interested in not necessarily going through the Aliyah process? I know Nefesh VanFS deals with Olim. Someone who's interested in an A1 status or a student status, are there other organizations that would help advise them?
Okay, so first of all, anybody who is looking to come on an A1 status from abroad, so the Jewish agency is who you need to speak with, and they will facilitate that. And for those who are looking to be students, so you really need to speak to the educational institution that you're interested in studying in, and they will provide you with the information that you need to know as far as eligibility for achieving a visa to come in.
Okay, we have another question here from YouTube. This is from Akiva Hardwell. Are there places, either established or startup communities, where you can buy land and put a small place for $50,000 or less? Area doesn't matter, maybe in Judea or Samaria or on a hilltop somewhere.
Okay, so I get questions like this all the time, and instead of saying yes or no, I think what really is important is to understand the person's needs as far as community and the type of place that where they want to live, to understand what they do professionally, and the distance that they need to be from an employment hub. And also, if there are children with educational needs, it's not just about plopping down a house somewhere, but it's understanding a person's needs. And so I would love for Akiva to contact me, and we can schedule a virtual meeting through Zoom, and we can discuss different community options and different options where housing is less expensive, and you can the entire list of participants on today's webinar is invited to go to the Nefesh VanFS events page and to register for a one-to-one Aliyah planning session. So please feel free to do so, and My personal email is elib@nbn.org.il.
Okay, couple more questions. I had one myself, and then I'll ask one from someone on YouTube also. I have people contacting me because I'm not nearly as involved as you are and as Josh is even in reaching out to people, but people are finding out that I'm trying to facilitate helping people in whatever way I can. So I had a woman to contact me recently. She said she's a nurse, so she thinks she can get work here, but her husband's on disability. He had a car accident or something, and she got two special needs daughters that are teenagers or 20 years old or something. And she says, am I going to be able to find a place to put my daughters? Am I going to, will they sit around, or will they have, how will they learn Hebrew? And, I'm trying to find people that she can talk to. So I have put her in contact with certain people that have experienced this situation too. But do you have any, like a special division that deals with people with all these special questions, not just special needs, but special issues?
Absolutely, absolutely. So when a person is in contact with Nefesh VanFS, we have an intake form, and we look at the needs of a family holistically. And we have different specialists within the organization that addresses whether it's special needs or whether it's regular educational needs for different populations. And there are employment needs and healthcare needs, and this is exactly the added benefit of Nefesh VanFS in that. There's no one person at Nefesh VanFS who knows all the answers. I've been working at the organization for 10 years, and I wouldn't be able to survive without my colleagues who are specialists in their fields and provide the information. So the answer is heck yeah. We've assisted over 60,000 people make Aliyah. We've seen it all. Okay, it's our zchut to share of our experience.
Okay. The person that asked the question about if there are a place to build is just saying that they're 50 years old and they're religious and they would like to do whatever it takes to make it work out, but they're obviously going to be on a limited budget, and they're not so young. 50 is really very young, but
Right. So there are some wonderful communities. As the community advisor at Nefesh VanFS, I get the chance to go around the country and to see some really great communities. And there are some communities which can offer a really good bang for your buck. Places which are out of the center of the country. A community like Katzrin in the Golan or Yerucham in the Negev. These are large towns that have affordable housing, that have construction going on, and there are types of housing units to buy, and but there are other opportunities as well throughout the country, and I invite people to be in touch with me, and we can talk about different places. Listen, I had a wonderful meeting today with people from the southern town of Netivot, and there are great opportunities for the right family for the specific needs, and it would be my pleasure to introduce these opportunities to you.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit, if it still exists, the programs of Go North and Go South of Nefesh VanFS.
Sure. So, traditionally, the majority of Nefesh VanFS Olim have made Aliyah to the center of the country, between Gadara and Hadera. Because that's also where the majority of Israel's population is. And, we felt that it was important to open up additional opportunities for Olim to be living in other areas that are not just in the heavily populated center of the country. So for over 10 years now, we've been promoting Aliyah to different communities in the north and in the south, and initially to help jumpstart this program, there were some generous financial incentives that were available to be able to help those who were looking to make Aliyah to places where there really wasn't an English-speaking infrastructure beforehand. But thank God this program has been extremely successful, and we have vibrant English-speaking communities in the north and in the south. And today there are no longer financial incentives available, but the real incentive of moving to the north and to the south is really to enjoy the quality of life that's offered there. So we have great communities in Carmiel, in Sfat, in Ma'alot, in Katzrin, in Nahariya. We have great Nefesh VanFS community in Beersheba, in Ashkelon, in Kiryat Gat is developing very quickly. So Baruch Hashem, there are opportunities for people, who are looking to enjoy the quality of life of a smaller small town feel, or a small city, as opposed to living in the Jerusalem or Tel Aviv metropolitan area.
We have a question here from YouTube. Yair Ventura is asking, what is the Aliyah estimates for this and next year, and what would be the impact in terms of unemployment numbers given those estimates?
Okay, so it's really interesting. I can tell you that, as I mentioned before, is that we've had about 3,600 Olim every year for the last couple of years. With the COVID situation right now, we're expecting an increase in Aliyah, but it's really hard for me at this point in time to say how many will actually be able to come. Considering people's plans are changing, and so it's hard for me to say, but we're looking at a significant increase because people we haven't had interests like this, at least at Nefesh VanFS, ever. The amount of applications that are being submitted and the interest is truly historic. So I can say that there will be more than there was, and we hope that this just continues to grow and to grow. Regarding terms of unemployment, before COVID, Israel was at historic lows regarding unemployment, and the economy was absolutely fantastic. Now the reality is that things are challenging, but they're challenging all over. But I think that what's important to remember is that Israel is really acting responsibly regarding the coronavirus, and hopefully we'll be able to be back into a more regular lifestyle and a more normal economy as soon as possible. But it's true. There are currently some employment challenges in Israel due to the coronavirus.
Wow. Well, I think that we're going to have to start wrapping up because we're coming up on the 9:30. Is there anything else you wanted to provide the listeners as far as hints, some suggestions of what they should do in order to make it easier, their process? Again, if you can give your information on how people can get a hold of you if they have questions, that would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, so again, my name is Ellie Bialik, and my email address is elib@nbn.org.il, and the Nefesh VanFS number for information is 1-866-4 Aliyah. That is 1-866-425-4924. And that is the number from US and Canada, and it answers in our Jerusalem office. Now, as far as suggestions, I know it's going to sound funny, but try to enjoy this process. You're doing something which is going to make a tremendous difference in your lives, in your family's lives. It's a tremendous zchut to be able to make Aliyah, and life here is really, really beautiful. I feel so proud to have 5 children who were born in Israel and who are doing important things, and who feel at home in the Jewish state. So yeah, be proud that you're making Aliyah, feel good about it, and take all of the bureaucracy in stride, because it's just something to get over. And then soon we'll see you here in Eretz Yisrael. And hopefully we'll have the building of the Beit HaMikdash, speedily in our time, and we'll enjoy all of the benefits of Klal Yisrael being together in Eretz Yisrael.
Amen. The beautiful
Amen.
bracha. I was just going to ask if there's some way that the volunteers like myself could get involved with your organization. So I guess if you could just mention something about how people, you said Israelis are getting involved in helping you. I'm the perfect person. I have a lot of connections, just friendly connections mostly. I'm not even into business so much, but I can certainly accomplish some things, like have a parlor meetings, or I could invite people to stay with me, or I could do all kinds of things like that.
Okay, so anybody who is interested in getting involved with Nefesh VanFS, the best thing to do is to send us an email to info@nbn.org.il and indicate that you're looking to volunteer, and then we'll have somebody get back to you with information about opportunities.
Or I'll just walk to your house.
info@nbn.org.il.
No, I said, or I'll just walk to your house.
Right.
No, you still want me to email. I understand. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been so informative, and we know you have precious, precious little time, especially with a big family like that. So thank you so much for joining us.
Ellie, thank you so much for joining us. Again, this webinar is being sponsored by bringthemhome.org.il and the Miriam Geula Project. You can go to our website, also found at israeltorah.org, where we have an inspirational video series. We have podcasts, we have radio shows, we have blogs, we have lots of information about the why one should make Aliyah, the hashkafa behind it, the halachas behind it, and you're welcome to go see that as a resource. Again, people that are more interested in information from Nefesh VanFS, their website is nbn.org.il. Their phone number is 1-866-425-4924, as seen on the bottom of the screen. And we want to thank Ellie Bialik for joining us this evening. It was very informative, and we hope to have him on in the future again.
Bezrat Hashem.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Okay. Bye-bye.